Now, when we spoke last week, this storm had been disorganized. In your words, it was moving slowly. Has it picked up speed? Is there any hope that it could clear Jamaica faster than it seemed a day or two ago?
It is picking up a little bit of speed. A couple days ago, it was basically stationary. I mean, you could crawl faster than what the storm was essentially moving at. But now the storm is starting to move at a little bit of a higher pace, 7, 8, 9 miles an hour, somewhere in there. So luckily, it is starting to speed up a little bit, but that is still rather slow for a tropical system. So we still do expect a slow movement here over the next day or so. It will gradually be accelerating as it moves to the north, but still a very, very slow tropical system and very prolonged event and impacts as well.
Prolonged event and impact. So we've been talking about Jamaica, but where else could people feel the most severe effects? I mentioned Cuba at the top of the conversation. You mentioned Hispaniola. Can you take us through the other areas that could be experiencing damage?
Yeah, of course. Hispaniola still dealing with the rain. If I switch back here to the satellite, you can still see some of these outer bands here getting into portions of Haiti here. So we're still dealing with some flooding issues, even as the storm makes landfall way west over here, still seeing those impacts further to the east. And then where's the storm going from here? Well, 3 a.m. Wednesday is what we expect the landfall time to be in eastern Cuba. That's where it's coming up next. So that'll be early tomorrow morning, expecting a major hurricane landfall in eastern Cuba. Probably going to lose some wind intensity as the storm moves over land. So we do expect it to weaken a little bit, or at least lose that wind intensity. But we're still very concerned about the flooding aspect of things. That is not going to change. So even though the winds might come down a little bit, we are still very, very concerned about those flooding potentials in eastern Cuba. And those mountains in eastern Cuba are very, very tall as well. So just think of that sponge analogy I gave. We're still going to have that tomorrow as the storm comes over Cuba. And then from there, it comes up into the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. So those folks will have to watch out for it as well. So again, even though we're forecasting a Category 2 at that point, the rain and surge are still going to be a major, major issue.
Category 2 by the time it reaches Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. What day should the residents of those places be prepared for landfall?
Yeah, so we'll kind of go through it here. So for Jamaica, it's right now. If you're not in your safe space, you need to get there right now. The storm is going to be making landfall shortly. For Cuba, I mean, conditions are going to start to go downhill later today pretty significantly. So you probably only have a few hours left of preparation ahead of the storm. And then the Bahamas, you have probably until maybe tomorrow morning or tonight to get prepared for this. Again, the storm is going to be accelerating a little bit, so it's going to come up on you quick here going into tomorrow. And then from there, the storm is just going to accelerate out into the Atlantic away from the United States. It's all being driven here by a dip in the jet stream that's going to kick the storm out. So we're not going to deal with any direct impacts on the United States, but I'm still very concerned that we could see some very dangerous rip currents starting later this week and into the weekend. So if anybody in the United States is going to be venturing out to the beaches, please bear in mind that the conditions at the beach could be very dangerous.